recognize the gentlelady from Pennsylvania.
Thank you. You know, obviously, we have a commitment to support our veterans and service members and their families, and it's unfortunate that the bill before us tonight falls short of that. As the ranking member mentioned, some of our colleagues seem to have lost sight of what should be our overall goal, actually passing the legislation that can do that. I'm pleased to see that the PACT Act's Toxic Exposure Fund is fully funded in this bill, but the bill underfunds military construction and VA infrastructure and contains no dedicated funding for critical efforts like the PFAS cleanup. And as the ranking member mentioned, this bill, like so many that the House majority has sent to the floor recently, is loaded up with right-wing policy riders that actually hurt our veterans. I'm particularly concerned about the attempt to restrict access to reproductive health care for veterans and their family members. The VA has a 2022 interim final rule on reproductive health services that allows veterans and their eligible family members to access reproductive health care, including abortion care, through the VA in cases of rape, incest, and cases of life or health endangerment for the mother. This bill's attempt to overturn that rule is yet another example of anti-abortion lawmakers pushing their agenda to jeopardize access to reproductive care and to ban abortion for everyone on a national level, as opposed to letting women have the freedom to make those decisions with the consultation of their doctors as opposed to politicians. So it threatens the health, safety, well-being, and personal decision-making of the veterans that our colleagues claim to support. I'm also opposed to the continued efforts of our right-wing colleagues to attach policy riders that erase history and bury the continued impact of discrimination on our veterans and armed forces. We saw these efforts in connection with the NDAA and now in the Milk-Cowan Vets bill. When I was home in my district in one of the weekends in between those two bills, I had the honor of participating in a ceremony to award the Congressional Gold Medal to one of our Milford Point veterans. You know, before I was involved in this, I had no idea what a Milford Point veteran was. These were the African-American Marines who joined as a result of Roosevelt's order during World War II, despite the fierce opposition of Marine leadership. They were placed in a segregated camp near Camp Lejeune. They had to contend with wildlife and really poor conditions. So in serving their country to fight World War II, they also were serving their country to desegregate our military. They performed honorably at Iwo Jima, Okinawa. There were 22,000 of them, and they have been basically lost to history until efforts commenced in 2011 and thereafter to identify them and to honor their service with this gold medal by recognizing the fact that they were not paid, they were not honored, they did not receive the medals to which they were entitled. This was so meaningful to their communities and to their families that they finally get the recognition to which they were entitled. And it's still just happening now because the Marine Corps didn't keep records about them, didn't honor them while they were alive. We still have 11 in the VA hospital in Philadelphia. They're getting up there. But to gut these efforts to recognize the longstanding impact of discrimination in our armed forces, particularly at a time when we're having so much difficulty recruiting people to join those armed forces with our all-volunteer armed forces, it's really short-sighted and just, I think it's a huge mistake. So, you know, our veterans fought and sacrificed for our freedoms. As lawmakers, I think we need to ensure that we protect their freedoms, that we honor them, that we protect their freedom to make their own personal health care decisions. So with that, I would yield back.